The Mummy is one of the best franchises of the 2000s, and that franchise might be coming back with a new face, Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves is making headlines again, with rumors swirling about a film called The Mummy Resurrection, and fans are absolutely buzzing with excitement, especially because it's rumored to star Keanu himself. Let's rewind a bit and talk about Keanu's journey in the entertainment world. Keanu gave us The Devil's Advocate in 1997, with a strong and killer performance, but it was his role as Neo in the Matrix trilogy that really catapulted him to superstardom, starting in 1999. And let's not forget about John Wick, where he totally owned the screen starting in 2014 and kept the momentum going with more John Wick films. It's no wonder the New York Times dubbed him one of the greatest actors of the 21st century in 2020, and Time magazine recognized him as one of the most influential people in the world in 2022. Keanu truly is a living legend. That's what the new Mummy movie needs. A legend. It's not just Keanu making waves for The Mummy. Dwayne Johnson is in on the action too. Recently, there was a heartwarming reunion between Dwayne and Brendan Fraser, who you might remember from their days together in The Mummy Returns. Brendan was on the fast track to becoming a major action star, playing Rick O'Connell in the sequel back in 2001, while Dwayne was just getting started with his film career, appearing as the Scorpion King in the same movie. Now, things have definitely changed for both Dwayne and Brendan since their Mummy days. Dwayne's become one of the biggest action stars around, while Brendan's been exploring more serious dramatic roles, like in 2022's The Whale. But despite their different career paths, there's talk of them possibly teaming up again for another Mummy movie. Brendan's expressed interest in returning to the Mummy franchise, even mentioning a potential Mummy 4 with his co-star Michelle Yeoh. But the future of the franchise seems a bit uncertain, after Universal's attempt to reboot it with Tom Cruise didn't quite pan out. And with Dwayne's Black Adam project facing some setbacks, a Mummy revival could be just the ticket for him to dive into a new franchise. Part of the reason for The Mummy riding the wave of nostalgia back into the spotlight might be the success of its 1999 predecessor at the box office, with the recent slump in box office numbers, possibly due to last year's strikes from the Writers Guild of America and SAG-AFTRA. There's been a trend of bringing back old classics to fill the void. Movies like Dune and Shrek 2 have had successful reruns lately, not to mention the ongoing re-release of all the live-action Spider-Man flicks. But just last month, we got treated to a blast from the past with Ridley Scott's Alien and Stephen Sommers' The Mummy hitting theaters again, especially since The Mummy is marking its 25th anniversary this year. This past month, more than 1,200 theaters across North America brought back The Mummy for another round. Originally hitting screens in 1999, the film pulled in just over $1 million in ticket sales over the course of 3 days. With this latest run, The Mummy's total global earnings have reached a staggering $417 million, with $156 million of that coming from domestic theaters alone. It's worth noting that The Mummy played a crucial role in rebooting the classic Universal Monsters franchise, leading to the release of 2 sequels and a spin-off. And even after all these years, it's still captivating audiences enough to warrant another go-round. The success of The Mummy not only solidified Brendan Fraser as one of the biggest movie stars of the 1990s, but also set the stage for his impressive comeback. After experiencing a bit of a career slump in the 2010s, Brendan made a triumphant return a couple of years back with his stellar performance in Darren Aronofsky's The Whale, which even nabbed him an Oscar. But let's rewind a bit. Brendan first took on the role of adventurer Rick O'Connell in 2001's The Mummy Returns, which was an even bigger hit, raking in a whopping $435 million in global box office revenue. He reprised the role once more in 2008's The Mummy: Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, directed by Rob Cohen, which brought in $405 million worldwide. As for Stephen Sommers, the mastermind behind The Mummy, he went on to helm other big-budget films like Van Helsing and G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra. However, it's been quite a while since he directed a feature film, leaving fans eagerly awaiting his next project. Brendan Fraser's trio of Mummy movies were box office juggernauts, grossing a whopping combined total of $1.2 billion worldwide. That's some serious coin. However, the franchise hit a bump in the road when it was rebooted in 2017 with the ill-fated Tom Cruise-led film of the same name. The intention was to kickstart a shared universe of Universal Monsters films, but unfortunately it didn't quite pan out as expected. Despite pulling in $410 million globally, the movie faced scathing reviews and failed to ignite the franchise as planned. Universal Studios had to rethink their approach after the stumble of the Dark Universe, opting to focus on standalone director-driven projects instead. This shift paid off with successes like the Invisible Man reboot in early 2020. It goes to show that while audiences do love sequels and reboots, there's a fine line to tread, and learning from past mistakes is crucial. Hopefully, any future reboots, like the potential Keanu Reeves version, will take note and steer clear of those pitfalls. For instance, The Mummy suffers from an abundance of action scenes that overshadow everything else. While action is undoubtedly crucial in a movie like this to keep the audience engaged, the 2017 reboot takes it to an extreme. It feels like the director, Alex Kurtzman, relied too heavily on action, barely allowing the film to catch its breath. Consequently, the action becomes monotonous. This excessive focus on action detracts from other vital elements of the story, such as character development, suspense, dialogue, and the ability to deliver scares. This may have been influenced by Tom Cruise, who had significant control over the film's production. Given Cruise's background in action-packed movies like the Mission Impossible franchise, he might have aimed to replicate that same adrenaline-fueled excitement with the Universal horror monsters. However, the end result was a movie that leaned more towards action than horror, with the monster taking a back seat. Another issue with The Mummy was its comedy, which felt out of place and forced. Tom Cruise has demonstrated his comedic talent in various films throughout his career, such as Losing It, Risky Business, Cocktail, Tropic Thunder, Night and Day, and American Made. However, in The Mummy, his attempts at humor often feel forced and occur too frequently. This doesn't quite land, not only because The Mummy isn't primarily a comedy, but also because the rest of the cast is portraying darker or more serious characters, creating a jarring contrast. The humor ends up feeling misplaced and falls flat. While humor can enhance horror movies when well executed, Cruise, being relatively inexperienced in the horror genre, seemed uncertain about when to inject humor effectively. The movie suffered as a result, lacking the necessary balance between scares and laughs. But the two major criticisms of The Mummy center around the forced nature of the dark universe and the lack of scares. Firstly, the dark universe concept felt rushed and contrived, with Russell Crowe's Henry Jekyll awkwardly shoehorned in as a Nick Fury-type character. His transformation into Eddie Hyde felt like a missed opportunity for a big reveal later on. This approach detracted from The Mummy as a standalone film and could have been better handled by teasing Jekyll in post-credit scenes, similar to how Iron Man teased Nick Fury and the MCU's future. Secondly, despite not necessarily needing it to be terrifying, The Mummy lacked the suspense and scares expected from a movie launching the dark universe. While Brendan Fraser's Mummy movies weren't primarily horror, they still showcased an intimidating antagonist. In contrast, Hamunaptra failed to deliver any real frights, drawing unfavorable comparisons to other lackluster villains like Cara Delevingne's Enchantress from Suicide Squad. This absence of genuine fear undermined the film's potential and contributed to its failure to captivate audiences. Well, that's it for today. If you enjoyed the discussion about the Mummy franchise and its potential revival, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. What's your favorite memory from the Mummy movies? And would you be excited to see a new installment with Keanu Reeves? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to share this video with your fellow movie buffs. Until next time, take care and happy watching.